Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. eSports Report and a Wild Christmas Bucket.
Did you have to do any push-ups?
No.
No, because this man was
He
so
blamed it
negative.
on me.
Shirtless push-ups?
So this is the thing, right?
To be honest, I just wanted to bring Puckett in here to talk about
when you're opening cases, you can't have bad vibes. You can't do it. We went in so positive. Third case, Hyper Beast M4.
Banana Boys don't have bad vibes.
Third case, you brought all the negativity.
No bad vibes.
Which was giving me blues, both literal and in the game. Anyway, moving on. We still have.
I watched a bunch of Call of Duty.
You have the giveaway thing.
I mean, we did give away.
Well,
yeah,
you
I
have
have
it
the giveaway written down.
You have it in your
Talk about. I'll fill you in on the 5K.
Yeah.
Before we talk about
real quick.
ISO won the 5K. AR won the 2K.
AR won.
Yeah.
Did they have to play anyone?
The first time in the finals. Ever.
I mean, I think me, you, and Ben could have put up a good fight in the 2K.
Wow.
Sure, that's crazy.
Wow.
ISO wins the 5K though. ISO first place, Elevate second, Orbit third. They played with Fears instead of Pacento. FaZe yesterday was Slasher, Karma, TCM, and Sensor.
That's surprising to see FaZe that
And then
low.
you see it was really surprising. I think they lost to Elevate. I think that was who they lost to. Enigma 6, Purist plus Nelly, 3's Up, and DT rounded out the top 8 for the 5K.
What's most shocking there to you guys? Because I think FaZe being that low,
everything in the top 8.
and then Orbit actually in the top 3 is kind of impressive considering they're going to UMG this weekend.
I mean, it is pretty impressive, I think, for Orbit.
No one was here at the weekend.
Like, Elevate's a Pro League team. You expect them to be in the final.
Right. The fact they lost to AR the day before that's what's surprising to me.
The #1 seed
AR's
was
another Pro League team, though.
Yeah.
You expect AR to beat them. Sorry, you expect Elevate to beat them every single time.
Every time?
Yep.
100%.
#1 seed at Nade Shot.
100.
It was Rise. It was Nade Shot, Wheats.
Please say Pac-Man was on the
Chino. No, Pac-Man was on DT. No, Pac-Man was on XGN. XGN lost to DT.
That's saddening.
Oh, wow. So they didn't even finish top 8.
XGN finished. No, not even in the top 8.
Sorry,
DT finishes 8th. Not a lot of upsets. I mean, AR got upset early by Purist plus Nelly, and that roster was.
So they go from winning a tournament to losing to people I've never heard of.
They lost to Baby.
Welcome to the weekend, Chris.
No, get this. They lost to Baby Slush, Eye Evasion, Jump, and B Nelson 336.
Okay, I know Jump. I know B Nelson.
I know B Nelson.
Dude, Slush
I have Asian.
Slush is good, man.
And Slush. All right.
And then DT, they upset the XGN team, like I was talking about.
Yeah.
And that was Stringo, Farmer, Baker, Vicious, and Ben Fearsome.
Okay.
So that's kind of went on in your 5K. I was more interested. I was watching you host up some stuff at Gfinity.
Dude, I hosted up so much stuff.
Looks like you had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That
I
one
actually
chair.
came straight from the casino to
That's
the
awesome.
office today.
Yo, how was you looking at the casino?
There's a 7-hour flight in between. I went up 5 pound. I left up 5 pound.
Is that it?
After paying for all my drinks. I was
That was
up money. That's my whole goal. When I go and I gamble, I just want to hang out with people and talk about and celebrate a great event.
Right.
And bet $10 at a time.
5 pound.
Five whole pound.
I don't gamble.
I didn't lose money, and that's a success in my.
Let me re-ask that whole question.
Yeah.
How much did you actually bet?
Probably 135 pounds throughout the day.
No, it's not bad.
So like you go down,
Okay, all right,
go down, go back up,
that's
go down,
that's
go back
okay,
up,
all right,
leave at 5+.
I was waiting for you to say you put like £2.50 on red roulette, and you were like, woohoo!
Actually, to close out the night, Ali A and I.
Oh god.
I was just bored. It was.
I love the fact that you ended your night with Ali.
And I was like, yo, Ali A, red or black?
This is the best way to leave a casino.
I put down 75. He's like, wait. I'm going with you. So he puts down 75. We both lose.
Yo, friends can't let.
Oh, so you were like up.
Ali A lost us our money at the end of the night, but then he tried to redeem it, put another 50 down. He lost 125 and.
Oh, that's bad. At least you didn't do that.
Learn from Ali A and I. Don't gamble. Do what we did. Keep your money, put it in a savings account, and go to college.
How's Maven?
I respect that.
Maven was dancing last night. He and Rel had a dance off. It was incredible.
Oh, we got to show the Rel in sync dance video, by the way.
Goodness.
my
Yeah,
God.
so before we
You
talk about the
Americans in
video
this
Before
whole
we
thing.
even go into this, this is the stuff people want to see, Ben.
Right. Like, there were so many great matches, but really the highlight of the weekend.
We've seen this all before. We saw it at Champs 2014.
No, but we haven't seen it like this.
Now we're just rewatching the same old thing.
Ben,
Rel could
I
quite
think you're just an
possibly
angry
be-
person today because you got a bunch of blues.
Yeah,
Dude, I got. Look at my inventory. How many? Look at that first page. How many blues do you
Go
see?
take a P250. Go show off one of your 10 P250s,
no,
Oh
maybe.
my goodness.
Maybe I will.
I can't find Rel.
I'm sure if you
I have way too many notifications.
Yeah. I'm sure if you YouTube Rel and NSYNC, you probably find it.
You know what was the most popular thing of the weekend?
Yeah.
My shoes. People just
Really?
constantly ask me.
It's the
what
same shoes that I complimented like weeks ago.
Yeah.
I was like, I love these shoes. I saw quite a lot of people asking you about where your shoes are from.
It was absolutely fantastic. All right, I'm never gonna find it, Matt.
No,
You're smarter at the internet than I am. I'll let you work that out. Anyway, we'll find Rel later, guys.
Yeah, we'll find Rel.
Why don't you
We'll
just
find Rel later.
Google
I'm not gonna
search
stand up.
Rel
I
and
tried
sync.
it earlier on my phone and I couldn't find anything.
Well, that's on your phone. Just put Rel and sync Gfinity keywords.
Boom. Ben, if this works.
Rel dancing to NSYNC 3 Gfinity.
Okay, this isn't the good video.
Dude, this is
Nope,
No,
that's not
that
it
is,
at all.
oh,
Nope.
well, no, this is it, because they're embarrassing him. They're playing the...
That was a totally different thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
gotcha.
they're talking
no.
about some
Hit
of Rel's,
backspace. Hit backspace one more time.
Rel's rough times.
Go back one more time. Right. First one. Right there.
3 days ago. Oh, okay, we can
See,
watch this one. This isn't the
that-
best one, but it's pretty good. All right, guys, here's Rel.
Internet, ladies and gentlemen. What is he doing?
I think the best part is he actually knows the exact dances from the videos.
And watch Ton on the far right.
Look
Ton
at
and
Tun.
Brycey were
Like, Tun is
losing
like
their
a
shit.
significantly better person than Rel. He's like, oh, I've never danced in sync. You don't do that.
Brycey was crying
Tun
at
has
the end of
posters
this.
all over.
It was fantastic. So Rel, honestly, one of my favorite casters in Call of Duty, has the best vocabulary by far, and I learned this weekend he needs to join Lance Bass on the NSYNC.
Why did this happen?
So what was really cool about the Gfinity Arena was they opened up really early to the audience, and the audience actually was queued up all across the mall. They're getting autographs. It was 18 and over, so there was a lot of people who were under 18 just getting autographs
Hanging out.
as we kind of came in and all the teams came in. And everyone else would go in here, and they did kind of a pre-show for everyone that was in the
Just
venue.
in the
Did
venue.
some giveaways,
Oh, that's sweet.
everything else, and it was pretty sweet. You know, it's like a movie theater, lots of stadium seating, but the audience got involved. I watched one of the Gfinity staff members get wrecked in a rap battle. Rel, of course, with his performances.
Did I see somebody doing push-ups at one point, too?
Probably not on stream.
Yeah.
None of it was streamed.
Somebody,
but you
I
might
saw
have
somebody
seen
people
some,
tweeting about
some tweets.
push-ups, Yeah.
It was a really good time, though. Really, I think my biggest takeaway from Gfinity is that Europe's audience for live events, and you heard it being said by a few of the players. Krim said at the very end, the European
best.
audience, so good. They get so loud. They really get into cheering, and really the NA fans just gotta wake up.
Just saying, COD champ should be in Europe.
God, champ should be in Europe. How do you Americans feel about that?
I'm just saying. You saw it at ESWC. Gfinity crowd has always been good.
Why do you
G3
think
was
that?
G3 was great.
G3 was
Do you
fantastic.
think it's
I'm sure this Gfinity was the same.
Double-decker up in the
and what's
conference.
crazy is the seating, if I'm not correct, because this is in like a movie theater,
Yep.
right? So the seating, there's not going to be that many, I imagine.
Yeah, I think it's like probably 400 max.
But I guarantee you they made noise.
Oh yeah, they were loud. They were really loud. And
Europeans know how to.
and the players really enjoyed it. So
have fun and go home.
talking about the weekend big picture though, I think like
COD champ to you.
the big thing for me was failures. It's like Optic Gaming,
Wow.
clear favorite to go in there, but there were so many failures on the way to that championship match.
Yeah.
I think the biggest one was TK for me. They didn't even make it out of groups.
I think I saw that coming, though.
Yeah, you both
But
had
you
that,
just
right?
won a tournament in Canada.
You both had that in the bracket show. I was the only one that had TK going through, I believe.
We both picked
Yeah.
Mind Freak.
Yeah, you
but
both had Mind Freak.
Mind Freak
Mind
failed.
Freak didn't even win a game. They flew all the way from Australia to London. They didn't even look close in a game.
Yeah.
It was blowouts in Search. It was blowouts in the
Told you.
respawns.
I knew that was gonna
They
happen.
played like trash.
That
And
was no
I was actually
surprise.
talking to Ize, Iskatu from, formerly Trident T1
Yeah.
Daughters. He was saying, yo, this isn't Mind Freak. This isn't the way they play. This is not how they perform in Australia. Something's up with them. And I talked to the players at the event. Like, we just don't know what was
Were they
going on.
arguing a little bit, or?
They just couldn't get anything going. I think like that team's biggest issue is there's no old veteran. There's like no guy that if they're down to really bring them
They
up.
had didn't they have Naked at Champs as like a coach kind
Yes.
of like person on the side?
And
So
he wasn't there.
They
He
didn't
was
have him.
He was in Dubai. He was in Barcelona. He was traveling all over the world to
He's
awesome
on
places.
Vegas.
and
He's
enjoying
like,
it.
I'm not going.
He's out
Yo,
with the
Naked,
fun.
when you don't show up to tournaments, Australian teams look awful.
They
I
probably
don't-
lost something with losing him though.
No,
But
I mean,
2
yeah,
years,
maybe. I mean,
2 years, 2 top 8
Collie G
finishes
lost
at
you and they
champs,
still won. It's like
And then they choked.
there's only so far that really goes. Like to not win a map, you can't be like, yo, we don't have Naked, man. We're not gonna win a map.
Right.
That's not.
Right.
I'm sorry, no.
But an argument starts and it spirals over and never ends because there's not another neutral voice in the room. To
The
kinda
real
put it
issue was
out.
they just couldn't kill.
They couldn't
Fox.
kill.
I think they were
And your
tired.
top guys, like you hype up Fida, you talk about how Fida is like the scump of Australia. He couldn't shoot. Dens was the only one.
Yo, I
who's
love
playing
Tide
consistent
Puckett. He's out here throwing haymakers.
Yo,
Yo, I got someone shooting flames with me today.
I'll call him out. I will give props to Buzzo though. Blackjack King. He is gonna own his own oil company one day. We talked about it. He's gonna meet Jerry Jones. They're gonna become business partners. He's moving to the U.S. and becoming a billionaire, dating nothing but Bond girls.
Shout out to Buzzo, gonna
Buzzo.
be an oil tycoon.
Yep,
Okay.
oil tycoon
Well,
Buzzo.
Yep.
But he needs
Oil
to work on
tycoon.
his gameplay. Instead of shocks.
In the
instead of
meantime,
fight.
though, he needs to focus on his game.
Yeah. Until then. So Mind Freak was a huge failure for me. I was really high on them. I said they were my wild card. And I wasn't the only one. I think Momo also was actually
Yeah.
excited to see Mind Freak because he got a chance to cast them quite a bit at Champs. And he's like, no, this is not the same team. TK, we had questions about it. And honestly, they went to Game 5 both times. The team that beat them, that kind of shocked me. It was Aware is
Ben
consistent.
hates Aware.
I know. He really hates
I
Aware.
don't hear why. I think they were a good squad. I just
Ben-
don't think
You
they
Ben
picked
like
against Aware
was-
for champs. Picked against him going in this one.
playing the odds. You would expect TK to beat Aware. You would. You would. Come on, no.
And
You would.
And Watson kind of put Parasite on blast.
Yo,
so,
I saw that.
Dude, really?
First
What'd he
time
say?
they play no
This is good.
IMR, they play no overkill, and Parasite bitches after the match, and he's like complaining and saying, if we had IMR, we would have destroyed you guys. They play IMR, they play all the normal rules, everything that's
Second
in the
time.
game. They get beat again in Game 5. Watson puts them on blast on Twitter.
Yeah, that's great.
He didn't
Good
add him,
guy,
though.
Watson.
He subtweeted him, so I retweeted it so the whole world saw.
Yes.
But what was really cool was I expected Parasite to kind of get really fired up and angry about it, and he's like, honestly, this was just a learning experience. So
I mean,
I know
so-
Parasite is a
all right, so-
controversial
so-
do you think that's
player,
really
and
how
we've
it-
seen different
So
sides.
I don't
but-
think either of you two saw this because I know you were busy actually doing the event, and I think you were casting the 2K when I saw this. But I was in the car and I was like flicking through Twitter, and Parasite, before he'd even played a game, before he'd even touched anything, said, "Oh, I don't really want to be at Gfinity. This is a big waste of my time."
Why?
And there was already massive negative. I can't remember exactly what he said, but you could browse through his Twitter feed and find it. But there was like so much negativity already that I sat there and I was like, "There's no TK just gonna lose."
But
it's as
why?
simple as that. Because I did a whole like stream prediction thing. I was looking at like all of like his social media. Yeah, I don't know.
Huh.
But there was a lot of negativity surrounding that team going in, and as soon as they lost, you saw them all say, "Oh, I just want to be back home." Like
This team is changing after the Pro League is
Oh,
done.
100%. There's no way.
This is happening. And honestly, Goonjar was really good in the games I saw.
Really?
And that was a big question mark for me coming in. How well is Goon going to play?
Yeah,
he was probably their most stable, their most consistent player. Parasite had his ups and downs, mostly downs throughout that. I was actually really surprised to see how TK was playing.
The last map, though, against Aware, Goon and Sharp kind of crapped the bed a little bit. What, a combined 419, I think?
And Sharp tweeted out as well that he was getting a lot of flack on his Twitter feed, and he's like, I had one bad map.
Right, no,
all
that's what I
tournament,
heard.
And it happened to be Game 5 the second time
I heard
around.
he
I don't
played
want to. I
phenomenal
don't want to
all
be that
weekend
guy.
long.
I don't want to be that guy.
Right.
Historically, you look at those pressure situations. You go back to COD Champs 2014, Sharp, Game 5, 0-7. Like, I get that he's very, very talented. I'm a bigger Sharp
Right.
lover. Like, I love this guy. Ever since watching him in Black Ops 2, I thought he was phenomenal. But there comes a point where if every time your back's against the wall, if you aren't performing at least decently, people are going to start asking questions.
I actually wanted to ask you, Matt. I was like, does it matter how well you play in all the games if you can't close out?
No. And I think,
Then there you go.
especially if you're the captain of the team, like, everybody looks to you in those pressure situations, right?
Yeah.
And we saw it in the NBA, like, kind of compare it to the NBA a little bit, but we saw it in the NBA playoffs, like, Cavs need a bucket with 0.8 seconds left. Like, there's no question, like, the captain, LeBron, he's getting the ball in that
Yeah,
situation.
you're
like,
speaking to like
you
30,
expect-
32 people in this
right,
chat
yeah.
right now.
But, I mean, you look at it, like, Optic Gaming, they
What's
need a
a
big...
Cav?
Optic Gaming in the finals,
with
right,
that.
in Game 5.
Yeah, yeah.
they need a good start. Crim starts off, what, 4-1?
He's like,
5-1?
oh, I'm in a 1v2. Let me just crush these kids.
Right, starts off like 5-1. Like, that's what you want your captain, main player to do. He's got to set the example for everybody else. I mean, when we were with, like, Cole EG, like, Game 5 came, you know Crim and Aches were going to destroy, no matter what.
I think the difference is if you put Sharp and Goon with teammates they feel more comfortable with.
No, we've seen it before. You can't give me that.
No,
you can't give me that.
No, I
You
can't.
can't try and give that back. Come on, man. Like,
No, genuinely, that they're playing with people who are continuously trying to tell them how to play.
Yeah.
If you sat there and I continuously just told you how to play the game, at some point you'd be like, just let me do me. Especially in a game type like Search and Destroy. People
like
hate being told how to play S&D.
They get to Game 5 and everybody just kind of looks around. It's like, all right, who's gonna make a play for us? It's like.
Yeah, but you expect Parasite.
Search and Destroy throughout the weekend was so inconsistent. Teams that were wrecking in respawns were losing respawns like later in the tournament, and teams who were struggling in Search and Destroy were playing amazing in Search. Like, I think Optic Nation versus Denial, the biggest kind of example of that. That matchup was what eliminated Denial. They didn't even place in the money this tournament because it was Optic Nation. Game 5, Kill of Miracles, everyone goes off on Riot, and Denial really just couldn't get any kills. Like, you looked at JCap, and JCap's bow is just everywhere in the fight. Like, he's in a 1v3, but normally when JCap is like, locked on, you're dead. Locked on, you're dead. He was waving. It was just, I don't know what was going on. Something was weird in London. The things that should have happened or don't normally happen were constantly occurring. I think that was kind of the theme.
We talked about Optic Nation. We're kind of like, we don't know what we're going to get. You're either going to get knocked out in group play, and you're like, yeah, okay. Or they're going to go and cause a crazy upset. And that's exactly what they did. And people were like, oh, this is the Optic Nation we expected. People saying, oh, people are surprised. People are surprised. These plays have teamed before. And it's like, well, it's just such a strange dynamic.
They almost got knocked out of group play. Vitality Storm, a team that has been playing together for like 4 days. Beat them the first time around, and then they go to Game 5 the second time around.
Yeah.
But I feel like that team is just, if they're in a Game 5 Search and Destroy, there's not many teams you can put in front of me that I'm going to bet against their win. I just think they're so good in those Search and Destroys.
All of my money. I'll bet my entire bank account on Denial in that Game 5.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think Denial stays together? You were there. You kind of saw the vibe around the players.
They're awesome. They're still good buddies. You saw them all hanging out together at the end of the night on Sunday. Normally when you see teams like, yo, you want to maybe hang out a little bit after this tournament? Maybe run some money eights? Wasn't happening.
No.
Denial's just like, we choked. Like, we had a bad day. Let's forget it. You know, $15,000 for first place. It's not the biggest dagger after winning $100,000 each at COD Champs.
What's 15K?
I almost think it's good that they're not going to be going to Cali. They need like a total just break away from the game for like a week.
Just relax.
Just
for a
kind
week
of
before X
reset.
Games.
Yeah, and reset before X Games. That's I think what's going to be perfect for them.
I think Denial still has a lot of potential. It was just, I think we saw the perfect storm at COD Champs where everyone was playing really well. How strong is Denial when Clay, because Clay was super consistent throughout ESWC, they still lose to Optic. Then you see Clay this event when he struggled, the team kind of crumbled.
He still finishes, with the number 1 KD.
Did he really? That's funny.
1.33, yeah.
That's really funny.
Like Formal and Clay are still like the two guys that I just look at and I'm like,
Didn't Cole take a break?
Ridiculous.
After Champs? Wasn't there like, like after one event, I swear Cole like kind of took a break.
We didn't go to UMG Dallas.
That was the one. You kind of just took a break and were like, hey, let's just chill out for a little bit.
It was like from June to August.
That was the one.
We took like a little bit of a break.
Reminded me. Do you know what's crazy? Just really briefly, you touched on stats. This blew my mind. Do you know what player finished with the highest Search and Destroy? KD?
Shane.
Like, what?
Shane was so good in Search. So there was one game where they're playing Detroit, and who was TCM facing? Jerd goes 8-0.
It's the Denial
Shane
game.
goes 6-0.
No, who was it? It was TCM. I actually watched this. Envy.
TCM Envy.
Yeah, they completely blew him out.
Oh, they destroyed Envy on a map that Envy looked really good on Friday. Like, you saw Merc getting an ace on this map. TP was playing really well. Everything was going well for Envy. They got blown out by TCM.
There was 3 players almost dropping 0-6.
How different do you think the tournament goes if Envy has Saints?
Massively.
A lot different. TCM doesn't hang in those respawn games. You have a cancellation of Jerd. Yeah. This event, they didn't. Like, it was actually working out really well on Saturday for Envy, letting TP slay and Merc doing the objective. And Teep was putting up some serious numbers. Come Sunday, though, neither TP or Merc could get anything going.
Proof finished with the second highest.
And that was kind of the difference. Proofy also starts off every game so strong, and Looney's like a little bit behind him, maybe +2, maybe +5 maximum. Proofy's like +10 at this moment. And then it was just like TP and Merc, come on guys, help Proof out. Eventually Proof just
looks
runs
really good
out
in
of
this game.
stamina.
That was 2 ARs.
They have Saints. They could have been in the finals.
Oh, that Envy squad with Saints is nasty good. So good. And I jumped to the stream and everyone was like, oh, Envy sucks. It's like, well, no, this isn't the full team.
Right.
Wait till you see these guys with Saints.
You're missing somebody who's arguably a top 5 to 8 player.
He's a huge factor to their success in the league. We see it every time we watch him play. You're replacing your top Slayer with someone who hasn't had the best success on AW.
Right.
Let's be honest. Of course that team's not going to do well. Anyone that realistically watched that and said, yeah, Envy had a chance of winning the tournament, delusional.
I think it was awesome to see Shane and the rest of the TCM guys rally behind Gunshi. Gunshi's last tournament.
Yep.
They really wanted to try super hard for him, and they played really well. I don't think you could give TCM any crap for the way they played. They showed that moving to the U.S. and playing in the Pro League, they were really able to improve from start to where they're at right now, and they're not done yet. Shane said at that tournament in his interview, we're playing to stay in America. That's what they're trying to achieve right now. If they have success, he thinks they're going to continue to get support from Jim and Craig and the rest of the TCM guys to stay here, and they know in order to do that, they have to get top 8 in the Pro League right now. If you look at the numbers, they're number 7 right now. They're above Team Caliber. So they are going to X Games if they continue. This
Prof is going to make a run.
I'm worried for
That's
them.
what would scare me.
I'm very worried. Very, very worried for them. Now Mad Cat's coming over, all that.
Oh, I'm not worried. I'm excited. Mad Cat was also looking really good.
All of the teamwork that they've been able to generate, living in a team house, etc. And arguably one of the most consistent players for the team is now off the team.
Speaking of Mad Cat,
nothing wrong with adding Mad Cat.
He was probably the strongest player on his team.
No, you're right. There's nothing. Yeah, completely. But you just dismantled a team that had such good teamwork.
You had Swanee who struggled.
Did Swanee really struggle?
You had
how'd Remy play?
It was Vicento who was struggling quite a bit. He looked really good in some of the searches, but struggling in the respawns. Mad Cat was consistent for me. So while you're worried about it, I take out Gunshi, who was up and down throughout the week, and I throw in a consistent Slayer. You add that to what Jerd is doing. Shane's even evolving from his objective role. He's no longer just like replays and only focused on the flags. He was, or the hard points. He was actually getting kills outside. I think actually the addition of Mad Cat will surprise you in a positive way.
I like the addition of Mad Cat too from an energy standpoint. It's like they don't really have anybody who's like loud, like fiery, like hype.
Shane, what are you on about?
Shane does, but
Shane's very loud.
Not as much as Mad Cat.
Yeah, but you don't understand what Mad Cat's saying.
Right, but it doesn't matter. They do. They do. I don't. I don't have to understand what he's saying.
No one understands.
Gunsh had some really great plays this week, and he went on some runs. Shane's shot, I'll be honest, is not that good. But his positioning was really good.
So this is the thing. Every single time you watch TCM play like CTF Retreat, for example, you'll notice Shane pulls out a bow, right? And any map where he doesn't feel comfortable in his long-range ASM1, he's going to go to the bow.
And it worked.
So this is the thing. In the Pro League, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Okay.
It's very, very hit and miss, because sometimes the team's just going to get completely outside, because his bow shot, it's not the best. He just kind of, it's like his comforter. It's like, okay, I know I'm going to do better with the bow than I am at ASM1, so I'm just going to run that anyway. Which, I mean, how far is that going to take you in a tournament, realistically?
I think it's working with the current meta, with the ARs really being prominent in all game modes. I think it's actually working out for him really well, and that's part of the reason he did so well in Search and Destroy. It was the ASM1 is what scared me with Shane. It's like when you watch Jerd, when Jerd is running with the ASM1, someone rounds a corner, dead. Jerd flying across the map, zigzagging, still, he spots you, it's just like Scump. They're right on you, he's just like Krim. On it, you're dead. Shane, he sees you, he overpasses you, he overcorrects to go too far left, and then he cleans you up with like the 7th, 9th, 10th bullet.
He's never been known to have the best shot. He's never been known to be that kind of player. He's just not the kind of player he is. Where he excels, and you saw it so many times in Uplink, is his objective play. Like, the bamboozling Shane is back. Like, I saw him with the uplink drone, juking out players on the minimap. And it was so great to see. It was awesome. And that's, especially in uplink, I think, gives him such a boost of confidence.
I think Jerd was probably in my top 5 players of the weekend without a doubt. He was consistent from start to finish. He was selfless. There's a play, if you remember,
Jerd's
end of Biolab uplink. It's overtime. They need to get this point in order to stay in the tournament.
That was Envy, right?
And Shane accidentally
no.
throws it to Jerd, who's
No,
jumping
that-
up. Like Shane
That was against Envious, right?
I think so.
That was when they were 2-0 up.
He was panicking. He throws it to Jerd, who he thinks Jerd is going low, but Jerd just jumps on it. Moose is able to help get a kill. Gunshy's over in the middle getting a kill. Shane gets the final kill and was able to push it through. But if you watch Jerd from the beginning of that play, picks up a kill, rotates all the way through, and just dives on 2 enemies for Shane. I was like...
He took it to the team. He instantly knew
Yeah.
what he had to do, and he was like, well, if I don't do this, we're going to lose.
And Jerd just plays so fast.
That was a really good call as well.
So
Just
fast.
looking at that play to actually wrap that green, I believe it was Moose that actually called that, and
Yeah.
really heads up.
After Moose got that first kill, he's like, yo, Shane, I cleared it. Let's go.
Right, let's just run.
I was impressed by TCM. I'm excited for these guys, and I really do hope they get a chance to go to X Games.
You think they make it to X Games?
I think they could be a dark horse team,
Eh,
but
I don't know, man.
Prophecy is the big problem. I'm worried about Optic Nation. Does Optic Nation come in and steal your spot?
I mean,
or
let's-
does Prophecy? Because
let's take a look at this, right?
Justice and AR. I don't know about you guys. But
You got the bottom 4 teams are separated by a win.
right.
That's
14 and
nothing.
17 is not bad though.
Yeah.
That is nothing.
You know who I'm worried about?
TCM are what?
I'm
2
worried
wins
about.
away? That's
look
14
at
you say?
FaZe's record right now.
14
and 14 on a 6 losing streak.
They have been losing.
They haven't played
game.
with. They're gonna put Enable in there.
TK has no confidence now after that tournament.
TK's got to be crushed after that one.
Optic Nation, I think, has a lot of confidence coming in, but they're -8 right now. You look down at
That's their
Prophecy.
problem.
Prophecy's -8, although I think this is arguably the 3rd best team in the Pro League now after adding Aqua and Nagafen.
they're
It
good.
was instant chemistry with Apathy and Aches, and these 2 players make both of them better. Both Aches and Apathy were able to
How
take
did
the
Aches
game to
and
the
Apathy
next level.
play?
So every hard point, Apathy is guaranteeing you 40 kills, 40 to 47. Aches right behind him by 3 to 4 kills every time.
Oh, really?
Aqua selfless plays, like they always talk about his in-game smarts and how he's able to run around like Scump and Jerd and some of those other players. He was doing some of the dirty work, some of the selfless plays, getting like the flex positions, and then Nagafen, he'll go 21 and 22, but he will play uplink purely to keep people off the satellite drone reset, and he'll purely just jump on it and throw it for yards anytime you're
Who's
in trouble.
doing a lot of-
Nagafen,
he's a
I
nuisance.
think,
Yeah, he's
I
a
think he's
nuisance.
one of the most underrated players in
People
the league
hate
right
to
now.
play against
Who was doing a lot of the OBJ work for them? Aqua?
Everyone.
Oh, really?
Everyone, and that worked out really well. I think Aches was able to actually just focus on killing again, and it's great to see. It reminds you of Black Ops 2 Aches. It reminds you kind of
Yeah.
of Aches and Crim combo a little bit back on the.
I have a question for
OEG
both of
days.
you. Looking at that leaderboard, which teams are you 100% that are going to go to X Games?
100%.
I have 5 teams.
Optic has to win 2. They're in, right? They're 25.
I think
and
Optic's
30.
already through.
I don't think
No,
so.
they're
Are
not.
they? I thought
No,
John
they're not.
Nelson
You gotta
went
win 2
two.
more games.
Oh, okay.
Elevate.
games.
I mean, you're +10. Envy, you're +8. I think both of those teams are safe. Denial not technically safe yet. They're very close to it though with +4. It's that drop off from 5th down to 12th.
So you only have 3 teams 100%. And like not just mathematically, I just mean if I asked you which teams out of that list right now are going to be X Games, which ones would you look at me and say I'm almost 100% sure that these teams are going to be there?
Denial and Prophecy.
You have Prophecy.
Yeah.
See, I have the top 3. I have Denial and I have Rise.
You think Rise is
There's-
guaranteed?
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind.
You got 14
What do you mean?
matches
They're
left
how
for Prophecy.
how can you say that?
I just think they're going to qualify
How can you say that?
because they look good. They look better than most of the people on that list. You look at that bottom 4.
Right, and just because they weren't at Gfinity doesn't mean they're a rough team.
Exactly.
UMG, I think, are they going to be there this weekend? I think
so.
that's
Yes.
a big proving ground for Rise for me.
I think I only have 4 teams that I would consider a lock right now.
Denial?
OG, Elevate, Envy, Denial. OG
FaZe is actually really
OG's magic numbers 1 game. They need to win 1.
Aches and Apathy, I mean, just this whole Prophecy squad right now is so hungry.
Yeah.
And I know they're down 8. They only have 14 matches left. But I think they're definitely going to be able to wiggle in and get somewhere in here.
So,
7 or 8.
Elevate's magic numbers 4. Envy's is 6. Denial's is 10. To secure a spot.
FaZe and TCM and Rise all 12.
Yeah. Can you guarantee me Rise wins 12?
Yes.
They're -2. Like, Ben, the difference between Rise and TCM is 1 game right now.
I know. I
And
just
you're
feel,
higher on Rise than TCM.
Yes. in the Pro League, yes.
TCM was
If you look at if TCM
Honestly.
continued playing with Gunchi, I'd feel a lot more confident. Is playing with Mad Cat. I don't know.
Season's what, 44
team
games,
chemistry
right?
wise,
44.
24?
yeah.
So you're telling me you think that Rise is going to go 12-2 over the next 14 games?
I'm telling you, they're gonna qualify. That's
Qualify,
that's
not lock.
that's what I said.
Right,
I
you
said,
don't think
I,
that. What are
I
they gonna
said
need?
if you look at that list,
Usually
which
you
teams are
need
gonna qualify?
like in the past pro leagues, you need like 20 wins to get
your
in.
magic
So you're telling me they're
number
not gonna win
changes-
6 more games? They're on a 3-game
Your
win streak
magic
right
number
now.
changes based on the
Who
other
else?
Everybody else as well.
Right. So that's.
So I think
all
12
all I
is
said
really
is
high right
I
now.
don't think
in a week.
20. I don't think 20 wins is going to be enough to get in. I think you're gonna need
So,
at least
so
like
what's
22,
been really
23.
The reason that the league looks like this right now is because the bottom teams have kind of been trading other games with the teams at the bottom. So at the start of the season, it was the top
Yeah.
teams were just winning and winning and winning against everyone, no matter who. Now, though, you're seeing the bottom teams actually pick up a couple of maps against some of the teams at the top. FaZe on a 6-game loss? Like, what? Like, what is that about? Like, fix it. Like, that's not good at all.
Because been traveling, man. It's tough.
No, that's not an excuse. You have subs for a reason. That's the point of having a sub. Someone that you can use
I
to
mean-
fill in. Yes, it's not going to be enabled.
But you sold all your good subs.
Yeah, essentially.
You sold them all. Like, you had Aqua as your sub.
Yeah.
He's on prop now. He is a threat. He is a guy who could continue to beat you.
What does Prof go over their next?
I think Prof
14
qualify.
games.
I think Prof qualify. I'd be very surprised if they didn't. You saw how dominant they were at Gfinity.
37% win percentage before Aqua and Nagafen returned from Gfinity. I just want people to keep that in mind towards the end of the Pro League. Like, I think this squad, and Egg said it best, at the end of the finals, after they take Optic Gaming, Game 5, round number 10, I think Enable played really well in that series. So I'm like, swap back in Karma. I don't see how much better Optic gets. Aix is like, what are you guys going on about? This isn't a huge win for Optic Gaming. We took them to round number 10, and we've been playing together for a week. Like, give us 4 more weeks. Are we better than Optic Gaming? We definitely have the potential to be.
They need to qualify.
Thing that worries
They
me
need to
is
qualify to prove it.
thing that worries me is how good is the connection for that team going to be? Aix, I mean, he lives in the middle of nowhere, right? Normally
Or
does pretty well on
Carolina.
host, but teammates have always struggled. Every single time we watched him host when he was playing with FaZe.
Where's Naga
I'm trying to think
Aqua
about
from?
I'm trying to think. Every time I watched him play on TR online, it was definitely nothing like watching him play on LAN. I know Apathy, he complains about his connection, but he's pretty godlike.
You gotta
Can't
figure.
confirm from playing against him. It's pretty godlike. I don't know. I think they qualify though. I'd be very surprised if they didn't. They look so good.
I think Prop is the 3rd strongest team right now.
Think Envy's number 2 or you think Denial's number 2?
I think Denial's number 2.
You think that
You
think Denial would be the full Envy squad?
Actually, you know what? I haven't.
Dude, Envy's
Envy with
good.
Saints is totally different from Envy.
Right,
with-
that's what I'm
with
saying.
Merc.
Like,
That's
how-
tough.
how
you know
good-
what? You know what? Prop is the 2nd best team right now.
How good of a match would?
I'll bump Denial and Envy down below.
Let's talk about it this way. How much of a match would
Really?
Envy that you saw this weekend give it? Like, would have given Denial this weekend? Like, would that have been a good match?
Yeah. No. I think the respawn should go Denial's favor.
Yeah.
If it goes to Search, anything can happen though.
Yeah.
That was scary. Like, Denial Search was scary this weekend. A little disorganized.
They're not exactly as safe to qualify as well.
They're safe.
Who? Envy?
Not Denial.
They
Oh.
are. Yeah,
Ah.
they're good.
I think they're good.
They're good.
That's fine. I think at this point you're going to see the teams at the top start winning against the teams at the bottom again, and it's just going to become a big old scrap fest from those bottom 6 teams of just we need to win every game we can.
Keep in mind, guys, we've always seen craziness at the end of the season. Most Wanted, they come in from the bottom. They
Right.
finish towards the end of Ghost in the top. Like Noble, when they did it.
Right.
Like, I think you can't root out the teams that are going to finish in that 7th to 8th. I think
I think it gets crazier now though.
I think it's crazy. Prop comes in at a 7 or 8. That's like an Optic Gaming order Envy.
That's what you have to think
Like,
about,
if you're Envy and Prop is sitting there in like the 7 seed, like, do you want to go down to the 3 seed?
Just pump
Do you
down
wanna
one
go
real
down
quick.
to the
I
4
also want to
seed?
bank that they don't finish 6th or 5th. Because
that's what I mean. They
it's
can climb all the way up to there.
It sucks to have Prop on the other side of that 4.
Yeah.
Is
you
there
don't
anybody you write out completely? I think AR is kind of done.
They just
I
won
mean,
2K
they're not
games,
exactly.
so-
There's
They
not
won a
exactly
2K and the
different,
next
but-
day got like what, 2nd round?
Yeah, they won the UGC Niagara 2Ks.
That AR team is just so confusing. They picked up a really good team and then they just released a really good team, and it's like
They made roster moves for the sake of just making roster moves.
and they weren't even good roster moves.
All right,
I'll be
here's a
honest
look
with you.
at AR squad right now. Again, shout out to our friends over at the Codpedia. This site's awesome. You got Burns, you got Anticity, Spacely, Moach, Remy, and Perplexed. Remy this weekend I saw without the structure of TR, he struggles. So I don't think he replaces anyone kind of on that starting lineup. I think
Really?
Perplexed is still a pretty solid player, but I would honestly play with Spacely and Moach.
I think you look at that squad and you think, well, it's not working right now. You're bottom of the Pro League.
That's not a team after X Games, regardless of
Right,
whether
but they want to be at X Games? You're telling me...
And they can't make a move right now. What do you want them to do?
Put Remy in.
If you're swapping out, you put
For
Remy
who?
in for Spacely? Is that what you're suggesting? Because I would put Remy in for Burns, arguably.
Burns has been one of the better players.
And yet they're still at the bottom, right?
But what does that tell you about the people he's playing with?
I
If you'd have told me that's a team
think it.
3 months ago, I would have laughed in your face.
But
That's how ridiculous that is as a team to me. The fact that Burns and Moach are on the same team again just blows my mind. That's just not a good idea.
All right, let's go past Denial. We know what's going on there.
Something, just a point of note, Dito's a sub for Denial. Don't think he makes it to play on Denial. Dito's 100% going to be in Season 3.
Oh, yeah.
He's been crushing every weekend. He absolutely
so good.
crushed yesterday.
He's so
Dito
good.
100% going to be in Season 3.
Isolation Dito. Enable Slasher Hook and Zuma. I don't understand how this team is on a six-game losing streak.
They can't close out games.
Other than Enable not being around, maybe. Because Sensor filling in. No offense to Sensor, but he's not Enable.
All right.
Yeah, and he doesn't play the same role. The
definitely
team doesn't
not
play the
Enable.
same. It's brutal. Optic Gaming, 25-3. You're not going to lose anything. This team right here, you're either great or you're terrible. They were winning with Embo struggling so hard. They went up 5 flags with Embo's going 4-16 in the first half of a CTF game.
This team was struggles online.
In the Search and Destroys, the Game 5s, Embo's was dropping minimal kills. He did have a big turn on, but
Yeah,
he
I
should
saw
have been
that.
dead. If the other player had better shots, Embo's is dead. He finishes like 4-11 or something like that.
I just look at that team and it doesn't matter like how well they played at Gfinity. I think online, you always see every one of those players complaining about having to play online. Killer's not a fan. He hates connection. You got
Yeah.
Miracles in Vegas. Like,
Miracles is the best player on that team without a doubt, by the way. I think it's time for
He's so
Miracles
good.
to go somewhere else for Season 3.
he's so good.
I want to see him playing with
He's
some guys
a- he's
who
a
support
Black
top
him.
Ops 2
player.
Miracles. Black Ops 2 Miracles. Been saying it
He's a
all
top
year.
flight player.
So good. So good.
Why are you so high on Rise?
On Rise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chino, Theory, Wheats, and
Explain to me why
Nezma.
you guarantee me that roster is going to be next
I
game.
just think they're going to be more consistent than everyone else. It's
I
just a
like
feeling.
the hunger of this
It's just a
team.
feeling.
Yeah.
The players who have just kind of all been thrown together. Really, when you think about it, like notoriously, true or false, teams who have been formed from kind of trades not going their way placed very well at their next event.
Yo,
True or false?
do you
Look
think
at
of like two,
all right. First of
three
all,
teams?
fact: Denial won world champs, and
Right.
they're a team which was basically, oh, we don't want you guys. Nah, we don't want you guys. Like,
So name me like more than Denial.
it always happens. Always. On like roster moves. You always see it. It's the honeymoon phase. It always is. You have that one really kind of good event. And then what happens after that? Who knows?
I think this
that team's
past
sticking
the
together.
honeymoon phase.
Yeah, I think you'll see. I think at X Games, I think they'll play pretty bad. I think they'll get to X Games, and I don't think they'll perform well.
I think Wheats has gotten a pretty bad draw just from the fact that he played on AR for COD Champs, played really good, but then they kind of get rid of him for no reason.
So the thing,
He was like the best player on the
Right,
team.
he was
I'm
like-
gonna be
like
honest.
arguably like their
At
best
that
player in
point,
COD
you're
Champs,
looking at it, you're like, yo, Wheats is really good. Like, he still has it.
yeah.
Because everyone kind of thinks of Wheats and Pac-Man, and, well, Pac-Man having some of the worst placements he's ever had in his career. People kind of correlated that over to Wheats as well, which is totally not fair.
No.
The
It's
guy,
like, yeah, go ahead, drop me. I'll just go play better somewhere else.
I respect him a lot because he
Yeah.
has a really good attitude towards that. He didn't hold a grudge. He was like, all right, well, screw you guys. I'm just going to go qualify with someone else.
Same thing with Theory. Theory got dropped by TK. I'm gonna go wreck you.
I think
So
TK,
the one thing that worries
did he
me about this
leave
team.
TK, or did he just kind of?
I was talking to Sharp, and they were
was
like,
like-
yeah, this is pretty much us kicking Theory off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the thing that worries me right now for that team is Theory's still in the TK house. What happens
When he's not on that
What
internet.
happens when he leaves that house? Where does he go? Because I believe
I think Theory's leaving after X Games.
is it after
He's-
X Games?
Yeah, he's going
because
to his own
I
place
know
after X Games.
I casted with Deathly like a week ago. We actually watched Rise play TK and Rise beat them. And Deathly was like, "Come on, man! When you have like Theory basically going, even as everyone else who's playing in the TK house, like it nullifies the point of host advantage. Because that's the point, right? If you're a high seed, you get an advantage technically from host. And they're getting very, very annoyed about that. But they're not going to do anything because obviously this guy's been in TK for forever.
And it's a terrible move on a organization side. It's like, all right, we really want to invest in you. We want to move you to this house. We want to uproot you from your house, your home, your friends. We want
you out of here.
We want you to play for us. Oh, by the way, your drop, get your shit, and pack up. Get out of here.
See you later.
I mean,
it's like I give huge props to Kazdiv and the whole TK org. You wait till the end of the season and you do it properly. You're like, hey, things did not work out. You're gonna go on a different team, but you don't have to leave New York.
Upstate New York sucks. You didn't even have to go back there. I don't wish that on anybody.
I mean, that team needed to make a team change.
Yeah.
There was only so long you weren't gonna make a team change.
Honestly, Parasite was a really attractive offer at the time. I still
he's like the only offer at the time.
I think TK still has some room for growth. I just don't know if the personalities can get along at this point.
How good do you guys think Nameless is at AEW?
Questionable.
It's up and down.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
inconsistency
sometimes
scares me the
really
most
good
right now in AW.
You see it from a lot of players.
And that's kind of how I did my ranking. Like my top 10 ranking of all the people at Gfinity was just who's the most consistent. And I think Aches really high up on that list. I think Formal,
which is so ironic, by the
really
way.
high up on that list.
If you look at how he started AW, it looked like he just couldn't shoot straight.
Jerd, probably the highest on that list.
Well, to be quite honest, I don't think Aches has had a team he's been happy with, and when he's not happy, he's just completely turns off. He doesn't care. Just kind of going through the motions.
And I even talked to Ollie. Ollie from Prophecy was saying, I told Aches, I don't want to pick you up. The other team owners don't really want to pick you up because we don't know what we're getting out of you. Yeah. And if you want to join Prophecy, I need your full-on commitment. And Ollie said, I'm getting that from Aches. Yeah. Aches is hungry again. He's got that drive. And he made a promise.
Well, you saw it.
I think
you saw his play.
Right. I think
saw his play increase as well in championship. Yeah. You saw his play increase when he had the phase roster that he liked, with Parasite, Slasher, and Enable. He played much better with that team. I think he likes this team more because he doesn't have to fight for kind of the in-game leadership with everybody.
Right. There's no Slasher to counter. Like Nagafed and Aqua are gonna.
They're gonna
maybe
listen.
Chime in.
Right. Maybe chime in.
Maybe. But
Apathy, he's won a championship already. There's no reason Apathy not to listen.
I think he won a championship with Aches as well.
Yeah.
Like obviously.
No,
so it's like, so it's just like, well, why am I not gonna listen to the guy that won me a championship?
The Elevate roster
with T2
very strong. Temp, yeah, he stays. That guy's a monster.
I'm excited to see him on land. Too young. Same thing with TJ. Too young for COD champs. When was the last time we saw him on land?
We're gonna see them at Cali, I believe.
Was it UMG last time we saw him?
Yeah, probably.
But did you ever see him with super high quality teammates?
Like, yeah.
This is a team that for UMG definitely gonna be looking at to place well. I think Envy is a realistic contender with Saints. He's that much of a difference.
And with Proofy playing the way he is, and Looney's another one of those guys who's pretty darn consistent. I think he's still better than Shane in Uplink. I think Looney's probably the best objective player in Uplink right now. It's a very strong statement.
How do you measure that though? When you say best objective,
missed throws.
Okay.
And creating opportunities for yourself. It's like a running back who plays with a mediocre offensive line. It's just a guy who's like, it's like LaShawn McCoy just made plays happen by himself. DeMarco Murray, before they staffed up, just made plays by himself. You see Marshawn Lynch doing the same thing. It's just guys who will put the team on his back and get a point for you when it's not expected.
Yeah.
Fair statement. Fair statement.
Justice is a roster I don't know about.
Oh, no, Justice is done.
Yeah, that's.
Although Octane and TCM have had a good season though.
Yo, Merc's not done. I was talking to him. He's like, yo, I still think I got it.
How'd he play?
Watching him on Friday, he did have it.
Yeah.
Watching him on Sunday, he lost it. But it was crazy. It was crazy. Like Teep had a phenomenal Saturday. Merc had a phenomenal Friday. Neither of them had a good Sunday.
I feel like,
and I think that was the big problem with Envy is you had 2 question marks on the same team.
It's a lot harder to be consistent in this game than like Ghosts or Black Ops 2. I think
that team just needs no.
I mean, I'm not saying that team would work in general.
I know. I'm just saying.
And then TK we talked a lot about.
Poor Study hasn't done anything in AW.
I don't think he's really. Well, actually, I was gonna say I don't think he's had the chance, but really he did.
Yeah,
he had a chance and kind of blew it.
With FaZe, and they didn't qualify.
Elevate as well. Like killing Miracles, the same Optic Nation.
People forget that.
I wouldn't call that chance. Really. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's you can't live off the legacy of last year. In a
Right.
game which changes every single year, you need to prove yourself every single year. And I think some people maybe just get a little bit lazy with that. They're kind of like, huh, you know, I was really good last year. People are going to consider me really good this year. Well, surprise, we're like halfway through the season now.
So
It's like I always used to love like players who would just talk about how good they were and then kind of convince other people to talk about how good they were. Really, they weren't that good. It's like, oh, let's just, yo, I'm so good, man. Like everyone's saying he's so good. It's like, does anyone actually like watch you play? Like,
I think
like you know what I mean? Like, no, I'm not even saying that just in like saying one player I'm talking about.
I got in
I'm
fights
just saying in general, like this happens a lot across all
yeah,
esports.
I agree.
Where one person says this player's good, another person tweets how good he is, and then the next thing you know, the general assumption is, oh, he's a very good player. It's like
really good.
it's like, well, let's watch
So
him
let me
compared
ask
to
you.
other
Let me
players.
ask you this: is that the same thing with TR? Because
What do you mean?
so that exact thing that you said is exactly what happened with TR. We saw TR plays pretty badly. Then we all kind of got on the TR bandwagon. We're like, yo, TR's really good. We built up Aqua so much. Now that they're all on different teams.
Yeah, they're really good.
As
Aqua
individuals?
and Nagafen were the strength of that team.
All right. So what about the other 50%?
The other 50%, Vicenta was always a question mark for me. Because he talked, you know, even at champs at times, he's like, I don't even have to really do anything. I just make the play calls and try and keep the team's morale.
No.
You put any leader with better gun skill than Vicento, and you're going to see the same performance out of Aqua and Nagafen, in my opinion. Remy, like I said, he's that guy who needs structure, and he needs to know where his three teammates are at. I think he has a lot of potential, but the other two, Aqua and Nagafen, are just naturals to me.
If Vicento and Remy are two people who shouldn't be playing with a pickup team.
Nah.
Like a pickup team's a difficult thing for them to go into.
And it's tough. Like, I'm judging Vicento and I'm judging Remy from their Gfinity performance after playing with Swanee and Madcap for 2 days.
What are the
Same thing with
chances-
Swanee. I'm giving Swanee some crap for the way he played at Gfinity. I think that was just a bad situation where the squad did not have enough practice and were highlighted too much.
What does Swanee do now?
We talked
So-
about this before. I genuinely think it's about time you consider casting a little.
Now, did you catch this at the end? Gfinity is starting the
European
EU.
Euro Pro League.
And I think Swanee has his pick of the litter. And I think if you look at Vitality Storm, that's where you try and land.
I don't think Swanee does. I don't think he has a pick of the litter. I think teams now are solidifying themselves. There's no TCM, first of all. That's the first thing. You look at the European Pro League, you're like, okay, this is great. One of the best European teams is currently in North America. Traditionally, it was Epsilon versus TCM. 50% of that whole rivalry is now gone and in North America. So I think it's wonderful.
How long
it's
are
great.
those TCM
Swanee-
visas?
Well, that's why when you say they're planning to be here for next season, no. I'm sorry.
Swanee
I'll
needs
bet
three.
I'll bet you a large sum of money. That's
How
just
long
not
do
gonna
you have
happen.
to go home before you can come back?
It,
Do you know those?
I know. It's not gonna happen.
Swanee needs 3.
But,
There are
honestly,
3 of us here. I think we can probably contend in Europe.
You know,
Right?
I'll tell you later.
Yo,
We can probably
I
contend
want,
in Europe.
I want Swanee and Mr. X to host a show together. The most good-looking men in esports.
Realistically,
Dressing
who is
nice in Zara
who is
clothing.
Swanee gonna get?
Yeah, we'll
Talking
probably win the
intelligent.
European Pro League too. We'll beat Vitality Tornado and Vitality Thunderstorm and all the teams over there.
I mean, you're looking at me. I've been over in America like a year now.
Vitality
so, they
Well,
could genuinely be teams. I have no idea.
well,
Vitality Storm actually has a good roster.
My big takeaway is
We probably wouldn't beat them.
Swanee should not play with anyone from France. I noticed that this weekend.
Down.
Yeah.
French are falling off.
Sorry,
I hate
sorry,
to say
France,
it.
but
I hate to
you,
say it.
you can't hang.
There's a difference between
that's-
aggression and just running around
But
like
that's
crazy.
so strange because this game is just so aggressive.
He shouldn't play with anyone from Spain. No offense, gamers too.
How did Fave?
I don't think you've ever seen that happen. I don't think English players ever teamed with a Spanish player,
How did,
except for a DreamHack Spain.
Fave Esports play?
was
Questionable teamwork.
Oh, and I wonder why. Language barrier.
No.
Definitely.
No, it's the Germans who didn't get along. It was
I'm telling you right now.
Torres and Rush
language.
who weren't even on the same side of the map. It was just watching. It was like, let's play a pub together.
I'm telling you, communication.
Okay, you still have two people who speak the same language, and those are the people who aren't working together. Gunny, Wheat, and Kiwi, you've played together at COD Champs. Why can't you play together on LAN at Gfinity?
I think they're just
They probably
expecting
tested it out in ranked
they're
play a
expecting
few
that team.
times.
It
Hey,
looked
this
like
is working.
denial in that Game 5 against Optic Nation all
Like
tournament
it was
long.
working.
Huh? They probably tested it out in rank play. Got on, played a few maps. That was first fine.
Yo, we Shrek.
Seems like a good idea.
Let's
Why
go to
not?
the Spring Masters.
But I think just in general, this is going to be a good thing for all the European teams because now they're forced to be consistent and play a lot more. I think if I'm Swanee, I'm trying to get unaware because
Yeah.
I'm trying to join Watson.
That's a good spot.
As weird as
That's a good
that
point.
kid is, and as like
The audacious one, right?
as offensive as he can be to some of the other local European players, I think Watson might be one of the best in Europe right
I love Watson. He's a good guy. He's a little bit reckless, but
Yeah.
he's a good guy.
He says something, and then he feels bad about it, and he
And
apologizes.
then he immediately
to you in
distracts
person.
it. I remember the first time I met
curious
the
to know
guy,
how the
he
European
told me
Pro
he
League
hated
is gonna
Americans, then forgot that I was American.
How is the European Pro League going to work?
So they have.
Did they announce
they're
that?
going to invite the first 6. 2 teams will play in, and then they'll have a challenger series, which is 8, and then underneath that, it's kind of like a pyramid scheme. Teams from like
Sounds legit.
right? We could make so much money off of this together. Teams from the lower challenger series move up into challenger, and then the challenger guys get into the main one.
So rather than saying a pyramid scheme, it's like European football.
Yes.
You have League 1, League 2, and the Premier League. It's like that.
Yeah.
The issue I have, and this is where I'm concerned, is connection in Europe is, I mean,
Bad,
You
right?
need some team houses, huh?
Yeah.
I mean,
No, 'cause talking
if
to
I'm a
pl-
German team and I'm playing against a UK team, you know how like we say, oh yeah, you know,
They
connection
could
Pro League?
potentially do it a lot.
All-
East to West Coast, right?
All that is.
They could
And I'm
potentially
being
do a
honest,
lot of it on land.
And I actually talked
No,
to. No,
Europe's
they're
a-
going to play a lot online. and
Europe's
they're
a
gonna cast
huge
it online.
place.
I talked to Paul Kent though, the head of
Take it,
kind of
man.
the tech side over at Gfinity. He said actually the infrastructure throughout most of Europe has become incredible with internet connection speeds. The distance is still a concern, but the speeds are better than the majority of the states.
Yes.
So
Oh, definitely. I can tell you that right now. But still, UK playing against a French team,
Just don't pick somebody up who lives on a farm.
It's-
somewhere.
the game doesn't even have the same letters in it.
It's very confusing. It's very confusing.
I think that's something we should have to,
Double work.
when you're looking at like players being picked up,
Double
that's something
kill.
which immediately becomes so important to think about. Like there's young players in Europe who have very good internet connections, who I think you may be surprised who Swanee ends up teaming with, if Swanee ends up playing at all.
Right.
You really think
He's
Swanee's
playing.
not going to play? He's
No,
gonna
I
play.
talked to him. I was like, "Yo, Swanee, you
Oh,
ready
he's
to
gonna-
move to the States?" He's like, "You got to play." Like,
No,
I
he-
can't
he-
hire you yet. He's like, "No, not yet. Not yet, mate."
But yeah, mate, he wants to play a lot.
Yeah.
But finding teammates now is going to be very tough.
It's not. Okay, you're telling me I can't replace Reedy on Vitality Storm right now? If I'm Swanee?
But how is the
I'm
relationship
like, hey,
between
Swanee
the
and
players?
Josh, or hey, Tommy and
He
Josh.
just teamed with Tommy and Josh.
Yeah, no, he did.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he didn't, but I'm saying like how are the relationships between all the players now? Because that's something. But teams changing so much.
The only thing I can see that would hinder that is that if you're Epsilon, why do you let Swanee leave your brand and just kind of leave your brand hanging out to dry?
Because
If you're Epsilon, just buy some players.
you didn't take care of him. Your players left Epsilon to begin
Right.
with. So why not? Why wouldn't Swanee leave? Like, he's not under a 12-year contract with them or anything.
Probably like a year.
And Vitality, so he's shown they got money. They got Gotaga when they wanted him. Like,
Yeah.
they can have whoever they want. So I think if I'm Swanee, that's the team
Swanee
I'm trying to
moving
go
to France
to,
could
or
be
I'm trying to go to
cool.
Aware.
if they move to France, but then there's things like I know Tommy will never leave the UK. Like
Right.
that's just not an option.
Yeah, so why do they have to move to France? They just
No,
have a French org.
no, because Vitality, like they have a huge team
Okay,
house in
team
France.
house.
Like,
Optic
it's-
Nation
I mean,
should play
it's-
in Europe. That would
it's
be
like
awesome.
pimped
Imagine
out.
Killa playing against French people every day. I would watch it.
I would just watch Killer
So what we
Europe.
should do one day,
That's
we should
his
give him
own-
like a French like copy of the game and just try him. We'll just watch him play. It would be the best thing in the world. But back to the teams and whatnot. I don't know. I think it's a big upset that Gunchi is now retired. That's
Does
like,
Gunchi play the EU Pro League just for
So,
kind of like
no,
giggles?
Let's go back to the rosters for that point specifically. 1 second, Ron.
Why
so
not?
This,
If you're
is,
Gunchi,
this
why not?
was my big concern, right? I have to talk to our league office to find out what our official ruling is, because in the league right now, you can only bring on a player if he's a substitute or you trade for him.
Mad
Yeah.
Cat is a substitute.
Mad Cat.
Mad
Yeah, it
Cat
just hasn't been updated.
It hasn't been updated. TK
Oh, okay.
TK picked up Mad Cat because they had a spec sub and they traded accuracy for
For
Mad Cat.
accuracy.
Gotcha. Okay, so this is an update. I was really
No.
confused on that. I was like, how does Mad Cat possibly
It's
get in?
okay. Chris
other than the
is
rise
tired.
It's
They're
not
playing-
my fault this
Oh.
site isn't updated. COD PD, I love you, but you made one mistake today and you confused me real hard.
They're
Yeah,
playing with
Mad Cat's
Pac-Man.
good.
They're going to bring
Mad Cat's
Pac-Man back to Europe, back to
Yes.
his home after
Jonathan
this.
Tucker,
Yeah.
ready to
But yeah,
go.
Gunchi's done. He's
Why?
done. because he wants to enjoy his time now. Like, he hasn't seen his girlfriend in like 3 months. I know he's going on holiday. He's going to Ibiza for like 2 weeks. He's been playing since COD 4. There comes a time in every person's life where you just say, I'm done.
And he wants to explore the other opportunities in esports.
Yeah.
He said that's his goal. He wants to stay in esports, not necessarily as a player, but he said, you can say I'm retiring, I'm at least done for this game. So he might pull a nade shot. Might just be back at Black Ops 3.
It's tiring to be a player.
I don't think you'll see him play again. I think he's gonna try and get maybe like a job, maybe at Gfinity. Maybe that's a good go-to. ESL could potentially pick him up. Like, who knows? He's been around COD since the beginning. Like, he knows everything there is to know about how to run tournaments, events. He knows what works, what doesn't work. One of the most experienced people you could possibly pick up. The guy 100% deserves a job somewhere in esports. That is.
Yeah, we'll see where he decides to go. So, big takeaways from Gfinity. Prophecy is almost as good as Optic Gaming with Enable.
Yeah.
Are they almost as good as Optic Gaming with Karma is the big question for me. Optic Gaming, talking to those guys, they're going for the 3-peat. They said without a doubt they're winning UMG. And I asked Krim, I was like, have you ever won 3 tournaments back to back to back? He's like, yeah. And he's like, wait, no. It's not in the same weekends. So, that's his new goal.
Now, yeah.
He's trying to go back to back to back weekends. I think he's done it twice. Like, won a tournament here and then won a tournament.
He's done 2 peats?
And we saw Formal do it with Halo and then a COD tournament the next week.
When is X
Games? Or vice versa. X Games is June 5th through the 7th.
So there's like a break. That would be, imagine that, 4 weeks in a row.
But 4 tournaments in 5 weeks ain't bad either.
Yeah, 4 or 5 weeks ain't bad.
Very true.
So I think look out for Prophecy. I think keep your eye on what happens with TK. And
what's interesting is now I think we're at the point where going into Season 3, teams are going to start thinking about Black Ops 3 as well. I think they're going to start thinking, all right, well, you don't think so?
No.
You
What
make
happened
your
at the start of
roster.
this game? What happened at the start of Ghost?
They're going to blow
You just
them up
take
regardless.
every team, you just hit the implode button,
They blow them up regardless.
and then they just go
The only team that I can see making it all the way through is OG.
Yep.
There's no reason for them to even, like, what do you even do?
Maybe Envy. I think Proof
All those guys
and
are pretty
TP
happy.
are really enjoying playing together right now. I think you don't want to ever lose Saints. Like,
No.
Saints, it doesn't matter what game he's playing. He's just really good.
He's like one of the players that you look around and you're like, okay, like if you were to pick now, like which players can you guarantee me will be good at Black Ops 3? There's like 3 or 4
yeah.
that I can guarantee you will be top flight, and he's got to be in that
I feel
conversation.
like people underestimate him, though.
My
It's
question is
crazy. I don't
Denial.
understand why.
I always thought Denial was trying to build a brand like that, where they wanted to like get this set roster and keep it forever and really
I don't
build
think
their
they're like
guys
that.
up. After watching them do their wheeling and dealing throughout this title and towards the end of Ghost, I think Denial will hit the reset button if they don't succeed at X Games.
I think they need to. I think they need to hit the reset button sooner than later, because eventually something's going to happen, and otherwise Clay's going to get an offer, and he's going to be like,
These dudes. Or
Clay's-
I think it's Denial who just builds around Clay. I'm Robbie right now. If I'm the owner of Denial, I'm like, oh, wait, there's one thing that's really consistent and the fans seem to love. He goes by the name of Clayster. I'm going to lock this deal down.
But who do you pick up around Clay at that point?
Whoever you want.
Attach, I think, is good enough to keep around.
But then this is where Matt's point is key.
Yeah.
This is where Matt's point is key.
I try to steal Jared. No.
You need to
It's
do it sooner than later, because yeah, right now maybe they can get whoever they want, but let's say they don't do anything for like 2 months, they will not be able to get whoever they want.
See Clay back in an Envy jersey ever?
I was just going to say that. Clay with Teep and Proof.
But what-
Clay,
but
Clay has a
what's
good
the-
relationship with both of those guys. Won X Games and Proof.
If you tell me like the team isn't good already, like that Envy, we haven't seen that Envy squad.
No, that Envy
with
squad's
Saints.
gonna be really
That Envy
good.
squad is going to be so good, and I haven't felt strongly about an Envy squad for a very, very long time. This whole game, I feel like I've done nothing but roast them, and finally I'm like, okay, we have a good Envy squad that can actually maybe cause an upset or two.
How would you feel if it was Clay, Proof, Teep, and Saints?
I was actually
I
thinking
wouldn't feel any
you
stronger.
replace...
I'd probably feel the
I
same
think you
way.
replace Proofy.
Really?
I hate to say it.
What?
Proofy is inconsistent throughout an entire game. He could start off really hot and then cool down. Clay doesn't cool down.
I think, though, you look forward towards, if you're making a move like this late, you think like the last events of AW, and then you start to maybe think, okay, what kind of pieces would I like to have when Black Ops 3 comes out? Proofy was arguably one of the best ARs in Black Ops 2.
Yeah, but Clay was the better
all
one.
the way. Clay was a better one, but if you put both of them together, is that better
But then
than
it
Proof
depends on
and
the meta
JCap?
of the game.
Yeah.
Everything is about the game.
I'm just saying, if you're doing a one-for-one trade right now on Envy,
that makes
if you're
the most
looking to
sense.
replace anyone, it's Clay for Proof. You keep Luna, you keep Saints, and
I think
maybe
Proof's
you
playing
keep
really well
Team,
right
but
now.
you probably do,
Here's
'cause
another
he's
thing.
pretty solid OBJ.
If you want to go up a little bit,
What's interesting is that what happens if the game is patched
they're going to have
after
a
X
big.
Games?
They're going to have a big hole to fill as well.
Can Clay and
FaZe.
Aches play and drop Nagafen?
Wait,
Because
what?
I can see Aches making that power move like, Nagafen, you're good and all, but I'm going to go for some star power here. Same
That
role?
relationship isn't as bad as it once was.
I was just saying, like, so much is still going to happen in Call of Duty.
Listen, if
It is
if it gets towards Black Ops 3 and like if you're getting towards Black Ops 3 and OG is winning everything,
I know nothing, by the way.
and OG is winning everything, if you're Clay and Aches, how do you not kind of consider like what happened in Black Ops 2?
There comes a point
You're
where
like,
if,
hey,
if that
you like
does
that
happen,
Crim guy? You want to beat that Crim guy? I know how to beat him. We must join
happens.
forces
We've seen Impact try and make the rounds come back together. Karma's always kind of been off doing his own thing. I mean, you kind of figure like it's a matter of time before at least 2 or 3 of those Cole guys kind of come back together. I mean, we see Karma and Crim on OG.
It's not gonna be either of those two.
No, but could I
That's
see
set for a while.
Could I see Aches and Clay playing with each other
Could
again?
they then get TP?
down
If
the
Aches
line?
and TP said, hey, going into Black Ops 3, we're thinking of teaming, does TP then go,
Ooh, does Teep replace Apathy is the question for me there.
no. Apathy's been playing out of his
Because
mind.
I'm not dropping Aqua. I have found the new Scump, and I am keeping the new Scump. I'm really high on Aqua still. For those of you who can't tell at home.
I don't know. My Aqua hype train is kind of, it's not coming to a stop by any means, but it's definitely slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think you watched him a lot this
I haven't,
weekend, though.
but then I haven't been to the last couple of events, so it's kind of like, well, this weekend will be for me is gonna be great because I actually get to see in my head piece together exactly where everyone
You
is.
get to watch what he's doing, and you don't have to just judge by the post-game numbers.
Right, and online is just so.
Does FaZe? How long does that FaZe team stay together for?
I love Hook. I love Slasher. Those guys love each other. I play some other games with them late at night, and they have a great time. I think Zuma is the only question on that.
You're gonna have to
are
replace
they
Hook,
as
though.
close?
You're gonna have to replace Hook
For champs.
down the line.
Well, no.
Yeah, for season.
Wait, how old is he? 17, right?
Hook's 15.
Well, how old is X Games?
What's that?
No, he's
How old
good for
is
that.
X
I'm
Games?
saying for champs like
Well,
next
what's
year.
the age limit for X Games? Don't know.
None.
Oh, there isn't one?
Yeah, no.
Oh, great. I was just curious because I know last year it was 18 plus.
Yeah.
No, everyone's good this year.
Sweet.
Yeah, and I mean you lose Enable to someone potentially too. It's something you look at if you're FaZe.
Yeah.
But
I think,
I can see Enable.
I think
definitely
Enable
build
is
around
the only
Slasher
one.
Hook. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
Well, honestly, I think Enable could end up going maybe to an ON. If ON completely imploded,
Yeah.
that makes so much logical sense. Like,
If I'm Hector, I'm like, yo, this guy was really
he's
good
great
for
with the
us.
brand. You know he's going to be good. He's
Red Bull ties already.
And you know he's not the type of player who's going to go say something dumb on social media.
Right.
It's like Swanee, right? Like, you know what you're going to get. He rarely really even tweets.
Enable, Swanee. Why are we talking about this, guys? We're still leading up to X Games. Let's just find out how we get there. I can't wait for this roster mania though. Right after X Games,
Oh.
it's gonna be so fun again.
It's gonna be crazy.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to be that crazy.
No, it might just stay kind of.
I think it's gonna be
same
stagnant.
squads
I think it's
until
gonna be-
Black Ops
I think
3,
it's gonna be
and
both.
then it's gonna get crazy.
You don't think we see anything crazy go down?
I do.
I think we do.
Yep. I think you see some angry personalities on Sunday night at X Games.
I think
who are
if you don't
talking to
see,
each other about how
I don't
to
think
fix
if you see Denial not placed in the top 2, I think something goes on there.
Yep. And that is the catalyst for everything else.
And I think it becomes something where it's like, it's either like they blow up like half of it, or it's like maybe Clay just says, instead of blowing this up, I'll leave, go somewhere else, and you guys just replace
So
me.
Dude, you know who we haven't spoken about throughout all of this? Dito.
Yeah,
he'll come in somewhere, but
he'll definitely fit in
No,
somewhere.
I
Does he
really
stick
think he's
anywhere
like
is the question.
I think he's like a top, like we were talking about earlier on. He's
was
been playing
crushing.
why
so
did he
well.
drop out in the first place though?
Well, I mean, look at his
didn't
whole
qualify.
year. Look at his whole year. Like
He hasn't
he
played.
hasn't played. Like the guy just hasn't had a chance.
I guess, but why are people giving opportunities to Temp? Why are they giving opportunities to TJ, to Hook before they went to Dito?
Great question.
Yeah, I mean that's something.
I was gonna give you an answer, but Dito right now is like
He was very good at Black Ops 2.
Very, very good.
He was like the first person we would go to when we needed to fill in for 2Ks
It's
and
like,
5Ks.
yo, hey, come play some video games.
Yeah.
Fellas, 6:15. I got to roll.
Nope,
But
you
I'll
can't
let you
leave.
keep partying.
No, you can't leave.
X Games, guys. Who makes it in? That's what I want to know.
We already told him.
Prop
we-
is
we-
coming
we-
through.
I think so. I think Prop comes through as well.
I'm not too sure. Anyway,
You'll have to fill me in on the top 10 games
we
of Gfinity
actually
for tomorrow.
we were
Tomorrow
supposed
we'll
to
revisit Gfinity.
Yeah.
you know we were yeah I was gonna say we were supposed to talk about it and we didn't.
But we had a great conversation though.
We did we conversed rather well.
I just like arguing with you guys.
Banana
Except
bread.
we didn't even argue.
We didn't
just
even argue.
no,
We kind of just
hypothetical.
agreed on most things, apart from the fact that you were.
How much do
Maybe
you
we
miss-
can
how
just
much do you miss
convince all
Banana?
the team owners to let us make decisions with the rosters.
We should just make an organization. I'll
The
be the leader of
ESR
it.
team will wreck everyone.
Oh, I can break up every roster right now. And I'll just make like as a super team.
I'll give you $1,000. You break up OG right now.
No, I couldn't do that.
You could.
Did he or did he
Just
not
have
just
to
say I could
murder
break up
one
every
of
single team?
Yeah.
That's not a
messed
team.
up.
It's not worth it.
This isn't Grand Theft Auto.
It's a long time.
OG
to prove a
isn't-
point.
It's a long
OG
time in
isn't a
jail.
team. There's no reason any of those guys should leave.
That's ridiculous. Anyway, for now, guys, quick commercial break. While it's Christopher Puckett probably goes get some sleep. Are you playing CS:GO later, or are you literally conking out?
I have no idea. My body is 80. It was 1,000% awake when I first sat down, and now I'm at like 12.
Yeah, you need to go get sleep. Go get some sleep,
I'm
Chris.
powered
You
out.
had a powerful weekend.
Look out for the Banana Boy tweets. If I wake up at 3 a.m.,
Oh my
people
gosh.
are gonna die.
I could totally go home and take a nap and set my alarm for like 4.
It's a terrible idea. We have a weekend
Yo,
to cast,
that's a
guys.
great idea. Yo, I could just start my stream early.
All right,
Yo,
boys.
let's do
I'll
it.
see you in a bit. Commercial break.